Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out a psychedelic adventure style exploration game called Dream Warrior by developer Palgal. I guess minor seizure warning on this one. The colors are definitely psychedelic, but they're not quite as abrasive as the majority of the games that I've played. In fact, what you're seeing right now is fairly indicative of the experience that you'll likely have. It's definitely bright and colorful, but it's not quite as stroby, if that makes sense. Although there may be parts of the game that I haven't discovered that do have some of those effects. So anyway, that's what this is about. This is going to be one of those games where we wander aimlessly through a bizarre landscape and do our best to explore and figure out where we are and what's going on. And in fact, I'm fairly certain we're never going to figure out any of the answers to those questions. But that's okay, because it's not about the destination, it's about the ride. And that is the ride that we're on for today. So let's look around a little bit in Dream Warrior. One of the best things about doing this series, and one of the most gratifying things, is that I find games that occasionally kind of break out of any concept that I could have about how they're made and what the format is that they exist within. This is definitely one of those games, because I don't even understand exactly how this was produced. I mean, I guess to some extent it's got to be a bunch of layers of parallaxing 2D graphics that are all kind of just sprite-based and sitting on top of each other. But it is really pretty to look at, and I guess it's the use of the color scheme, the use of the audio, the way it's used, and the whole cohesive package together makes it a little bit bewildering, but in a wonderful way. And so this tunnel up ahead seems to be beckoning me, so I think we'll head in that direction. But I really love this moment that we get to spend in this varying orange, yellow, pink hue area with the purple borders. It's very blacklight reactive looking. And essentially this whole game is us just swimming through this world. I don't know if we're flying, if we're underwater, or what. But however it comes out, it's fantastic, and I absolutely love concepts like this. So we're just going to head on in and see what waits for us on the other side of things. And I've actually spent about 5 minutes or so, and what it turns out that goes on here is this sort of loops back into itself. So we'll go far enough in to the world that we actually end up back at the beginning again seamlessly. But there also might be some secret areas that we can explore along the way that I'm not sure I took the time to on my first path through. Because right now, it sort of looks like you can go endlessly in any direction, and maybe you actually can in this particular spot just loop back into yourself to the left and right as well. And that's kind of where this becomes so bewildering, right? Because I'm not sure where you're allowed to be, or if there are places you're not allowed to be, or if you stop being allowed to be someplace. It's all really textural and wonderful, though, the whole way. I mean, look at this pillar of, like, oscillating whatever these little nubs are. I mean, it's so neat to look at all these textures all happening at the same time. And I love that there's also sort of an organic layering of Hall of Mirrors effects, too, where you can't even tell, like, what's supposed to be glitchy, what's not supposed to be glitchy. It's all just sort of free-form, expressionist art. And I'm looking at this pattern over here that's, like, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of, like, the blood vessels in lungs or something for some reason. I mean, I guess it's sort of just a fractal, isn't it? But imagine if something like this was procedurally generated. I mean, I know a lot of the appeal here is because the choices in color and the patterns that are happening and the animations that are happening were very carefully chosen to accentuate each other. But imagine if there was like a bank of thousands of these, and the computer could just sort of choose different ones that fit with the theme of the moment. Or maybe you could like hook up your pulse to this and it could actually monitor your heart rate and then do things to sort of modify your mood or something like that. I think there's so many cool experiences to be had, especially if you start to introduce the concepts of like Oculus, where you could have this stuff going on in every direction with actual depth. Because right now, I think that's one of the limiting factors, is you can't entirely tell where you even are at times. You're just sort of free-floating in space. And if you look to your left and right, well, it just sort of seems like more in every direction. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does definitely give you a sense of scale, where maybe you're extremely tiny and you can't really tell. But at the same time, it would be really neat to be able to see what was behind you or what was to the left of you, without just having to scroll the screen for quite a while. So it looks like we're about to head into this, I don't know, Mobius strip style pyramidal design and see what's going on in the end. And maybe something real cool will be waiting for us down there. Now, I did actually find, as I was heading around, that there was actually a spot that I could go that seemed like it almost unlocked a new world, and I didn't spend enough time heading in that direction. I'll leave that for you guys to discover on your own. But there does seem to be more than meets the eye here. Oh, okay, so the journey is a bit shorter than I thought. And it does turn out that we're pretty much looping back to the beginning already, although we sort of come down out of the sky in a way that's kind of interesting. And you'll recognize this was the first canal that we took through. And then if we go down a little bit further, oh, look at those pretty, like, they look like fireworks going up into the sky, or tracer rounds or something. Actually, a little bit eerie when you think about it like that. And then we come back down here and we, reacquaint ourselves with what I was kind of affectionately thinking of as, like, lotus blossoms moving in the wind. It's very kind of a Buddhist design for some reason to me. It's very tranquil, very meditative. And this is certainly something that I could imagine, if it was developed into something much more robust, would easily appeal to a lot of people that didn't even know that they were interested in video games. This is the really interesting intersection between very artistic and very casual gaming. And it's cool to see when those two things hit into each other, because you never know quite what you're going to get. I mean, there's a lot of casual games that I enjoy a lot, but very rarely do they go quite this deep down the rabbit hole into really interesting, beautiful art. I guess Morphopolis is another one that I could think of that sort of falls into that same category. So, I think that's about all I really want to mention with this one. Dream Warrior definitely worth a look. Like I mentioned, there's other places that you might want to go and check out to see if there's some more angles to this world that you maybe don't know where they are. And it is totally free. You can go ahead and download it. There's going to be a link in the description. And let me know what you think about this. And let me know if you know any other games that follow a similar premise, because I would love to check them out. This is totally the kind of stuff that I'm into. Just freeform, really casual, loose, meditative, contemplative, introspective kind of games. So, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Let me know if this is the type of thing that you would download, or if you would like to see it expanded upon. Can't even tell where I am right now. With the Hall of Mirrors effect, you end up having your character basically not get culled, and then you just end up seeing endless after images. Now I'm just headed up. But anyway, I will catch you all later. Like I said, links in the description. If you want to go ahead and download this or check out some of the other games in the series, you can check all that out as well. Looks like I'm not sure I'm going anywhere anymore. But I will see you all tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. If you enjoyed this one, consider leaving a like on it, because it does help me out a whole bunch. So I will see you all tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic night.